Frantic Nerdcast, hosted by AJ and Brock, talking about all the nerdy things that you want to hear about. Let's get into it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Frantic Nerdcast.
Welcome back. We have another absolutely amazing episode for you, as per usual, talking all the nerdy stuff and stumbling over our words as usual.
Mm-hmm. And
we have a little bit of a guest with us today.
I'm back. You couldn't keep me away.
Yep. And look, I've said this a few
for those
times.
who can't visually see, I'm back. Who's back?
I'm Zach.
That's right.
So, as I've said in a few episodes in the past, we're good for firsts, and this is our first time third guest or return of a third guest. So let's just run with that. We are all about the firsts.
You know it. So, what have you been up to, Zach, since the last time we had you on?
Been playing a lot of Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance emulators on the computer, running through those games. They're pretty sick.
Game Boy Advance, was it?
Game Boy Advance, yeah. Game Boy Advance. So, yeah, enjoying the strategy based and things like that, mixing up a bit, taking a break from grinding League of Legends for a while. So,
you know, they did a TCG of Fire Emblem. I don't know if it ever came out in Australia, but I know there's one that was kicking around for a while. I don't think it was very successful.
No, I've never heard of it. So.
I've never heard of Fire Emblem game until I saw those TCGs and I Googled it and I was like, oh, that's a video game. Yeah,
I played it back in the day and then have just got the latest version on the Switch. So it sort of kicked the nostalgia up a notch and dug out the old emulators on the computer and been working my way through those games and probably work all the way through all of them at this point.
Oh, fair enough.
Looks pretty good. I've never played it before.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start this episode off with a somber note. As some of those people out there who are gigantic nerds may know, we tragically lost Darth Vader.
Yes, Mr. James Earl Jones.
Yeah, and Mufasa.
Yep. Such a prominent voice, and it rings through the ears of our entire generation. It is so known, that voice. It absolutely incredible. But yeah, some very sad news with him passing during the week. From what I've seen, he lived a very long life. I think it was 93. So he had a very, very good slog. And look, I've never really delved into his life other than what we've seen come onto screen in some way, shape or form. I'd actually be interested to have a look into his life because he's lived a long time. From what I have briefly read, he enjoyed what he did. He had fun whilst he was doing it. So it'd be interesting to have a bit of a read about his life.
Yeah. I mean, Mufasa, I still remember Mufasa dying in those movies, and that just
traumatizing
voice. And then you also got as you get older, you realize he was in Coming to America.
Yes,
he was the king in Coming to America, and all those fantastic fucking. movies,
I remember him from one of my favorite childhood movies, The Sandlot Kids. He was the he was the old man that lived behind the fence with the evil killer dog.
Yep.
So that's where I remember him from the most as a kid.
Other than Vader, for me, it was what's the movie? Build It and They Will Come. He was
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, because he was in that as well. And I mean, very, very sad. But he lived a very long life. So and one thing that we can say is I do recall he actually sold his voice to Disney. So my understanding is that we will continue to hear him into the future.
There you go. I mean, if you're going to be dead and you're not going to be using it anymore, why the fuck not sell it?
Well, that was more or less what he said. He said, I've used my voice. It came through a generation. People loved it. It resonates. It is. He knew he had a very unique voice, very well known. So he said, let the next generation and generations into the future hear it as well.
Well, it's one of those things, especially for Disney with Star Wars, if you want Darth Vader to continue, it's kind of linked with his voice.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's get into the episode, shall we?
Let's.
All right, so we got some good fucking trailers this episode for you. I'm very excited about a lot of these. So let's start it off. Zach, what are we starting off with?
Let's start off with Arcane Season 2.
Okay.
Fuck yes.
All right.
So good.
Zach,
you can start talking first.
You started off.
So obviously Arcane is based on League of Legends, focusing on the characters Jinx, Kate and Vi predominantly, with a few others mixed in. But yeah, I obviously watched season 1. I'm going to talk about it a bit more later in the show, season 1 in detail. But the trailer, it's pretty good, fast paced, doesn't really give too much away as the storyline. But yeah, it's a great show, and I look forward to watching the hell out of season 2.
100%. So this one, it's coming to us on the 2nd of November, 2024. It's from the director duo Pascal Chiroux and Aurore Diord. They're co-founders of Fortiche Production.
That's what makes it in Italy.
Yeah, so internationally renowned animation studio. They brought us Arcane, the Rocket and Groot miniseries, animated music videos for people like Imagine Dragons, Gorillaz, and a whole bunch of other things. I had a look through, and
from
they're
memory,
awesome.
they did the Feelink film clip.
Feeling.
Feel Good Inc.
I'm not sure. I just
I'm
seen.
pretty sure they did
I
that
seen
from memory.
Gorillas. But yeah, if you click on that link, I'm sure that they're
I'm
associated.
pretty
to
sure that's
several.
that one.
Well, as I say, and then having links to Imagine Dragons makes sense because Imagine Dragons have done a lot of other songs and film clips for League of Legends.
Yes.
Well, they did the song in the Arcane series.
They did, Arcane, and they've done
which
a
my
few
son
others.
fucking loves.
Brilliant song.
From a starring perspective, I never looked into this after season 1 because I just
Haley
sort of
Steinfeld.
Yeah,
is the biggest
Haley
one.
Steinfeld.
Yeah, she plays Fisty chick.
But so we know Haley from she's Kate Bishop in Hawkeye. She's also in the Marvels and whatnot. But
I'm sorry, she was also in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3. Motherfucker.
I left them.
Priorities.
Oh, look, Pitch Perfect 1, great. The other one's not as good.
2 is good.
Anywho.
You know, getting up your halo, my halo.
Fucking hell. Ella Purnell. So she plays Jinx. Jinx. Recently the lead female actor in Fallout. So, you know, Ella Purnell.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah. So that's her.
Oh, fuck me. There you go.
And there's Kevin Alejandro. He was the chap in Lucifer, is Detective Espinosa. So it was pretty cool just to see that. Pretty cool just to see some of the people who were kicking around in it as well. And there was a bunch of voice actors who literally, it is what they do. They play so many different people through so many different shows.
That's
which is
most voice actors in general.
It is. And I find it quite interesting when you start to have a look at what some of these people do. Like some what they gravitate to, some what they gravitate away from, and just, they sort of get stuck into particular things. Like a few of these guys were heavily involved in Marvel and Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and whatnot. But no, it was pretty cool. Going and having a look and falling down that rabbit hole as I tend to do.
The art style in the show is just...
It's incredible.
Like,
Now,
I always talk about Spider-Verse and the art style in Spider-Verse, but this is just...
Yeah, it
fucking next level
threw
for
me
me.
when I first saw it just because it was so different to the other sort of animes I've watched, and immediately sort of it hooked me in and grabbed me. So
for me, I seen it kicking around on Netflix, and like I'd stumbled on it a couple of times, and I seen Arcane League of Legends, and I was kind of like, okay, whatever. Like
I've never been a League of Legends player. I've played it maybe 4 or 5 times.
Neither have I. Well, I've actually not played it.
played a little bit more.
I've not played it, but when I
look
seen
like
it,
a kind of person that's played a little bit more.
when I seen it, I legitimately just went straight to, this looks like a kids show. I might watch it one day.
So far off.
I was so wrong. Yeah. And when somebody recommended it to me, said, "Oh, nah, it's not kid show. Just give it a watch." But they just super casually say, "No, not a kid show. Give it a watch." I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, you could have fucking told me how good it was. I would have jumped straight fucking onto that.
I mean,
it was so good.
I love the first season.
Incredible.
I felt the first 3 episodes could have been condensed down into 1.
Yeah, maybe.
The backstory episode. They didn't need to be 3 episodes. I would have liked to have seen more of them older, more of the progression of Jinx and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I get the feeling we'll see a bit.
This whole season is
I was gonna
essentially
say.
Jinx versus Vi.
Exactly.
And I'm very interested to see whether they have the balls to get Vi and Cop Chick together. Because, I mean, they were hinting at it.
Well, it's an adult animation, so...
I know, but it's,
Look, law-based, they don't,
Yeah.
but they've changed... They're always changing the law, like completely rewriting law to completely change characters. So it wouldn't surprise me if something does happen.
It had
but
that
I'm not
aura
overly
about it.
expecting
Well,
it to.
they were planned, like you can tell that that's what the plan is,
Yeah.
but it's whether they actually do it or not.
Yeah, okay.
Is another story. But just
They might do it subtly.
I'm looking forward to the fucking carnage in this show.
It looks
just
fucking
looks. The trailer just
incredible.
makes it look like it's going to be fucking psychotic.
It looks like it's going to start on a high, and it's just going to fucking keep that high the whole way
and that
through.
sort of bleeds into those two characters of Jinx and Vi. Like they literally are like Full Metal. Like in the game, Vi just knows one way, and that's forward. And Jinx, like as soon as she gets a kill, she's fucking just goes forward and goes bananas. So the fact that the show sort of mirrors that is quite good.
Yeah, and I mean some of the voiceovers that you get through the trailer as well, they just scream how dark this is actually. I mean, one of the things I wrote down, which is super early in the trailer, is just like, I'm going to tear that laugh from her throat forever. And you're just like, fuck.
Okay, then.
And that's coming from one of the like goody
Yeah, no, that was from Vi. That was from Vi.
No, it was from Caitlin.
Oh, Caitlin, sorry. I thought
That's
it was from
the
Vi.
cop chick,
The
isn't
cop
it?
chick, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just like, fuck yes. Like, oh.
So something I did notice in the trailer was Jace, who was obviously a big part in season 1, wasn't so much in the trailer. I'm not saying obviously he will be in the season, but
Is he the dude who's banging the queen?
yeah, the one that basically builds the hammer that transforms from a hammer into a gun. Yep. And then you briefly saw Heimerdinger, who was the head of the council.
It's a little
short,
midget,
short
little bug
yordle.
thing.
Yeah. So he was briefly only in the trailer right at the end. So, but obviously those two characters are very well known in Piltover and Zorn, where the season takes place. So.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, that's League of Legends, Arcane. It's most likely going to be on my top list at the end of the year. So
I reckon it just might be in mine as well.
Yeah.
let's just say it's probably in there. We haven't even fucking watched it yet.
Yeah, pretty much. Just off the trailer, it's on the top of my fucking list. All right, let's jump on to this next one. So this next one is McMahon, Mr. McMahon. So this one is on the Netflix. Do you have stats on when this all comes out, Mr. Information?
It's actually coming out on the 25th of September, and it will be a 6-episode miniseries running for about 60 minutes each. I thought it was a one-shot movie type thing, but no, six episodes. Coming from director Chris Smith, who recently brought us the pandemic hit Tiger King.
That was not a fucking hit. That was a horrible fucking
Haven't
show.
watched it. Don't plan on it.
It's one of those things where it was...
The best thing we got out of that was, I'm Carol Baskin.
it was an interesting show, but it was because there was fuck all going on. And I enjoyed watching it, but by the time the second season came around, you're just like...
Was there a second season?
Yeah, there was a second season.
Yeah, there was.
And when it came out, you watch the first episode, you're like, oh, fuck, I watched the first season of this. Yeah, no, let's...
Am I trash? Does this make me trash?
Pretty much.
I love wrestling, and I like that this. It looks just from the trailer that it's gonna show the history of McMahon from when he took over from his dad through to the debacle.
Yes.
You know what's happening at the moment?
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to show all of that, and I just hope, like with WWE now on Netflix and all that kind of stuff, that they don't pull punches at the end of it.
I get the feeling that the punches will be pulled. It's just a matter of how far they get pulled.
I get the feeling, especially with obviously how well known it is and it coming to Netflix, they can't exactly hide necessarily from all of it. They can obviously will tell you what they want you to know, but
I get the feeling
it'll have to be there at some point.
I get the feeling that this is going to be a snippet or a snapshot of everything that we already know.
Yeah,
I think that they're just going to more or less, because like people over the years, they would have seen what happened with McMahon buying off his dad. They would have seen him bring it up and do whatever he did through there. But they would have seen those as individual events. And then they would have known about the steroid scandal. They would have known about some of the other things, like it seems like there'll be a whole episode dedicated to Chris Benoit and how that
he
sort
lost his
of
mind and fucking
unfolded.
kills some motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Killed his family.
And how that triggered the whole mass steroid, the federal steroid investigation. So like people know a lot of different things. I think it'll just be bringing all of that known information and putting it into this series.
Putting into a timeline would also be
Yeah.
quite interesting to watch, to track it and to follow it. But I'm also interested to see the the background commentary from the like superstars and the wrestlers and their points of view, and to actually see like how open they will be, if it's not going to be too sheltered.
From the trailer, it didn't make me more interested to watch it than what I already was. So I knew that it was coming out. I was interested in watching it. The trailer didn't sort of make me more interested.
No, it was very kind of just... It gave me more questions of how good is this going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we might get an idea for that after like 1 or 2 episodes as to how it's going to unfold. I still think it will be interesting to watch. I think it'll be interesting to, as you said, Zach, just see that timeline, see how far they actually go into it, and getting some of the wrestlers' perspective on some of these items. And again, it'll be very, very interesting to see how far back their punches are pulled.
See, I'll say I'm kind of the opposite. I knew it was coming and wasn't all that thrilled to watch it, only because of all the latest scandals. Like I sort of moved past him, and what I do watch of WWE now, I'm enjoying it more from the Triple H point of view. But yeah, seeing it all and seeing the fact that we'll go right back to Suck and the timeline actually made it a bit more interesting for me to want to go to watch it.
Yeah, okay.
Not necessarily thinking it's going to be amazing and must-see TV, but sort of put it in my head that I probably should go and watch this. So.
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough.
The one thing I am looking forward to for the fact, just briefly on the fact that WWE's coming to Netflix is we get fucking Attitude Era Part 2. According to Triple H, going to be more swearing, more adult storylines.
Well, it's gotten an R rating already, so it's actually been able to do that, which is awesome.
It's SmackDown's left Fox now, so it's back on the USA Network over there, and Raw's moving back to 2 hours instead of the 3 hours shortly as well. So I'd say, they're all getting ready for what it's going to look like on Netflix.
When's that meant to happen?
For
some reason, I thought it was
end of the year.
I actually forgot about it until you guys mentioned it tonight. I was going like, oh, that's right. I'm just surprised I hadn't.
Well, it was a comment I left on the video last week of why maybe Netflix picked up the heel show was because they're bringing the WWE there to help sort of garner interest in the genre.
On the wrestling. That's not wrestling. This is the wrestling. On to our last trailer. This is a modern day remake of The Wolfman.
Yes, it is. Oh, look at me. I didn't write stuff about this one. It has a release date. Don't know what it is. It's directed by someone. I didn't write down who it was directed by, but it is starring Julia Garner. So she is going to be our Silver Surfer, or Charla Bell in Fantastic Four, the upcoming one. And most prominently for me, she's in Ozark.
Oh, yep. I never really got into Ozark.
I watched about a season. It was good, but
it was like drug dealers living in a mountain town.
Kind of.
It's the suburban family that sort of falls into the drug dealers.
Like Netflix's attempt at
Breaking Bad, kind of. Again, I've heard really good things about it, but everything I've heard is you have to get past the first season, and I struggled to get through the first season. So
it's a very slow first season. So it's something that, to be quite honest, AJ, how we've spoken about in the past, how you get an episode a week, you can sort of watch and get into it, because you get everything, you've got everything, you start watching it, you get 3 episodes in, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, I don't want to watch episode 4, and then when you go put it back on, you're kind of like, oh, but I got over the first 3. But anywho.
So, Wolfman,
yes, the one we're actually talking about. So it stars Julia Garner. Now, she has been cast in... I had to. It's also got Christopher Abbott in it. Very recognisable face, but I couldn't fucking tell what he was from until I went and had a look. He's from season 1 of The Sinner. Awesome TV show. Go give it a watch if you haven't. It's got Jessica Biel in it. She was one of the producers on it, I think, as well.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, go watch it. Awesome show. This looks fucking good. I'm very keen for this.
This is how you make a fucking horror trailer.
Oh,
man.
100%.
I honestly watched that trailer. I could not have told you a single cast member that was in that movie.
Yeah.
All I know is it looked fucking awesome, and just like the little lines, like
and the
lines were cool. Yeah,
and the sound over top of that was fucking awesome, because it just comes up on the screen, starts playing through. You got a prey mantis attacking a bug, and you're like, I thought it was wolf, and then it comes up with the strip over top, just goes as you did, boom, and that noise. You're like, oh shit, okay, cool, fuck, I'm in. What's going on? And they didn't show you the wolf. You're seeing a little bit of an arm. That was about it. You're like, fuck yeah.
I think you see him running away maybe at one point from a far shot, so it's not
far
gives
shot,
nothing
kind
away.
Of a silhouette and whatnot. But I mean, this looks fucking awesome. It's super intriguing.
Was it Blumhouse, or was it just from the producers? Because it was by the person who did Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Blah,
so
blah, blah.
It's definitely got Blumhouse in it. As on the producing team, but I don't know if it was the full thing. I might have just been one of them, because aren't they brothers, Blumhouse? They're brothers or something like that. I don't know. Been a while.
I just know they make a lot of horror movies.
Yes, they do. Very, very prominent in it. Either way, Blumhouse is some way involved. I think, as I said, one of the guys is involved in producing of the show.
Yeah. It looked awesome. I'm in.
Yep, I'm in.
That's all I really need. There's not much you can really say about that, because it sits there in the fact that there was fuck all in the trailer. It just made you excited to watch a horror movie.
100%.
And it just looked like the older style horror movies, in my opinion.
So the only thing I got out of it that's probably completely wrong, but it seems to be some sort of almost like the zombie-like virus, how he sort of contracts it and that's what turns him. But again, I could be completely wrong. That's just what I read into a few of the scenes in the trailer.
It seems a little more like it's gone back to that... trying to get back to the crux of it, where the whole city isn't overcome by werewolves, which kind of happens in some way, shape, or form with your modern tellings and whatnot. It's more about there's a werewolf in a town, or at least from what I can see, there's a werewolf in a town. He gets attacked by it, and then from that, the story will be around him changing over time until the next full moon when he becomes a werewolf. So it's going to be far more about that transition where you've got it goes far more back to the what's the word, the mythos around the werewolf rather than being.
Well, this is a remake of the original Werewolf.
Yes, it is from 1941.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Keen.
let us move on to. Let's go this one. Anime.
I wrote so much fucking shit for this,
So
and then
did I.
and then I started again.
That's a good thing to know. Okay. Well, in this episode, we are going
7 hours later.
7 hours later. I need to put that as a little buzzer.
Fuck no!
We're
Don't do that because you'll be pulling it on me way too fucking often.
We're going to be running 3 shows, 3 sort of gateway animes for non-anime viewers to kind of get them into the world of anime. Now, I cheated a little bit, as I do, and I did 3 movies and 3 TV shows.
Oh yeah.
And I sort of broke mine down into demographics as well. So I've got young audience, like your teen 20s, and then adults.
Okay, so what I'll say is I don't think you've cheated. I think you've actually done what we should have done.
Yeah.
You've taken the idea and run with it.
I did the homework.
I did homework as well. I just didn't fucking do that.
Give me the pause, baby.
7 hours later.
Okay, so I will start. So I've got. I'll do.
You clearly have an honourable mention list as well, so we might
no.
as well get that out of the way.
I had 3, but because we partially covered one of them in the trailer, I came up with an honourable mention as well. So I have 4.
Well, I will put my 2. I'll do 2, and then you guys do your 1, and then I'll do because I've got 6.
Yeah, sure.
Alright,
so for those listening at home, you can see we know exactly what the fuck we're doing.
So my first one. So I'll do the younger demographic one. So this is the TV show. This is Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yes.
So this is very much in the vein of the magic girl genre of anime, which is normal girl can transform a la Sailor Moon, transforms into a superhero and sort of fights crime. So Cardcaptor Sakura is an anime series from 1998 to 2000 based on a manga that consists of 70 half-hour episodes spread over 3 seasons, 2 theatrically released movies and several specials. The series begins as a simple girls comic of magical girl genre. 10-year-old 4th grader Sakura Kinomoto opens a mysterious book in her family's basement and accidentally releases magical cloud cards. By her ability to open the seal, Sakura is revealed that she was born with magical powers, and it becomes her responsibility to retrieve the missing cards. Essentially, every episode is like she finds a new card. Like magically, she's at the appropriate place where the card is, and she finds it. Then she has to seal it, and then when she seals it, she gets the powers, and then she can use the powers later on.
Yeah, I remember watching this when I was younger, and it was surprised it was only 70. I thought it had a lot more episodes.
Well, I think English dub was actually less because we missed a couple of episodes because of censorship.
Yeah, I love the good old censorship into English.
But it is a fantastic show, especially for young kids, because there's no blood, none of that stuff. It's especially young girls that want to watch this kind of stuff because it is empowering the young girl. She's the hero. The male counterpart in it is a fucking idiot. And it's just a really fun, enjoyable show.
So standard.
Highly recommend it. And then for my movie, it is quite possibly one of the greatest cartoons ever made, in my opinion, and that is My Neighbor Totoro. So My Neighbor Totoro is a 1988 Japanese animated fantasy film written and directed by the god of Japanese anime, Hayao Miyazaki, and animated by Studio Ghibli. Miyazaki died last year, unfortunately. He has released some like Spirited Away, blah, 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 like lots of them.
If you've never gone down a Studio Ghibli rabbit hole in some way, shape and form, I'd highly recommend it because there's some interesting shows
Yeah.
from like a very, very creative
Essentially,
minds.
nearly every single one
great.
of them is irresponsible parents. Kids go on an adventure. Parents regret making life decisions of having kids. That's my take on it.
So this idea for this topic came from me, from my mate Sam. So shout out Sam. And because basically most weeknights we're on Discord chatting away with a group of friends, and there's a couple of guys that don't watch anime at all. And Sam's first protocol is go watch a Ghibli movie, you heathen.
Yep.
If you're not watching Ghibli movie, you are a heathen according to Sam.
So,
So,
Totoro, it's more of a kiddie one as opposed, like if you want more of an adulty one, there's like Spirited Away.
I'll say that's the only one I've seen is Spirited Away.
There's Porco Rosso, I think it is, the one with the pigs that fly planes.
Yep.
Yeah. But this one is 1950s Japan, university professor and his daughters, Satsuki and Mei, played in English by a very, very young Dakota and Ella Fanning. Move into an old house. It's got little black spirit ball things in it. And their pet mum's sick in hospital. And eventually to deal with it, she kind of meets this spirit, and it's this big floating fucking thing called Totoro. And they go on adventures, and one of the girls goes missing, and et cetera, et cetera. But it's a fantastically beautiful film, beautifully animated. Totoro is essentially Japan's Mickey Mouse. And Studio Ghibli even has a theme park that opened this year in Japan.
there you
and
go.
like each one's like Disneyland, where it has like the little worlds.
Yep.
Each world is a different movie.
Nice.
And all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So they're my two for the younger audience for movies and animes. So off to who wants to go next?
I'll go next then with my little mention. So this is not for the younger audiences. So Castlevania on Netflix. So
so good.
this is one where my wife, who is not into anime at all,
Are we
got into it.
talking the original one or the new one?
The Netflix series one.
Yeah, so
there's
there's two.
Oh yeah, no, the original one, not the sequel.
yeah.
Yep,
Second
yep.
one's
Nocturne.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that one yet. Is on my to watch list.
I've watched 2, maybe 3 episodes of it. It's really good.
Yeah, well, it's
It's a little. I think it's a little bit faster paced than Castlevania, but it's still good.
Yeah, so this is obviously 32 episodes across 4 seasons on Netflix, which so for me, getting people into anime, I think the length of them is important. So having shorter seasons, short episode counts is important for this. But yeah, basically it's a show that centers around killing Dracula after he goes mad when his human wife is killed for being a witch.
Yep.
Follows the trio of Trevor Belmont, who is the last in the line of a Monster Hunter family.
And he's voiced by someone super famous as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I took notes in terms of episode list. I didn't take notes of actors for you. Sorry,
I've just gone really, really annoyingly blank, but he's been in a couple of recently good things.
And then, so you got Cypher, who's a magician, and then Alucard, who happens to be Dracula's son, who's half human, half vampire. For me, I think the show's just got good pacing, good character development. And yeah, it's the fight scenes in there look fantastic.
Even the villains have really good arcs. Like the dude, the resurrection dude who gets it on with that vampire later on in the later seasons. That arc's really good.
Yeah.
Richard Armitage.
That's it.
So there's really nothing in the show that was a negative to me, like for everything. And as I said, for my wife Lisa, who is not into anime at all, was able to get into it and watch it pretty seamlessly. So
I loved the Dracula arc, like his story through this. It was fucking incredible.
For me, it was very different to like your typical.
I think I partially agree with the typical, because like there's all like a lot of the stories have that element of his wife lost his wife, and sort of that was a trigger around a lot of these things. But what I found is the way that he was at the end of that tether, if you know what I mean. Like he was just done. And I think the way that story was told about how he reacted to it, and because he's been living with it for such a long time, I thought it was really, really good.
I even down to the fact that his castle just flew around. I was like, that's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, that's pretty pimp.
So
Well, I think that's in the game, isn't it? I've never really played the
I haven't played the game. I've only
games,
seen the show. So
My castle flies around. What does yours do? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it stays on the fucking ground, doesn't it? Yeah. Fuck you guys.
well, that is a very good pick. I highly recommend that one. And,
Is that a pick or an honorable mention?
that was an honorable mention.
well, his other
7
his pick was
hours
Arcane.
later.
His pick was Arcane. All right, on to you, Brock.
Okay, so my first one, Pacific Rim: The Black.
Oh, I watched a few episodes of this. I didn't watch the whole thing, though.
I rated it very, very highly. I mean, it's Jaegers versus Kaiju in Australia. Fuck yeah. It came out 4th of March 2021. I did some reading. This is more or less actually a continuation of the Pacific Rim movies, which was pretty sweet. So I couldn't recall any real callbacks to the movies themselves within the animation.
I only watched a couple episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got the Jaegers that are through there. So I mean, that and the kaiju, and that's sort of enough, as well as the Pacific Rim. I mean, it's based around the time frame where Australia has more or less been abandoned because of the kaiju's running free, because the Pacific Rim is very, very close to Australia. So it's sort of like the first port of call. They just get there and fuck up Australia.
Yeah,
so
well,
everybody left.
You've seen that in the movie in...
you see Sydney get fucked
start
up.
of the first one.
Yeah. The Opera House.
So you're telling me Australia is full of deadly creatures?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. So
That's about
Australia's full
right.
of
Seems
deadly-
accurate.
Seems accurate.
Yeah. More or less just a small pocket of civilization that's still around the country. So
sorry, I'm interrupting here, but that's just giving me a fantastic idea for like an animated series, and it's like some nuclear fallout or something hits Australia, but it's some virus or something, but it doesn't affect humans. All it does is mutate all the deadly creatures in Australia and turns them into like giant fucking monstrous things. So Australia goes back to like a savage land, and it's just everyone has to try and hunt and survive against these giant monsters. Without giant robots.
We know the animals that live in Australia, right? We know they don't need any fucking radioactive
I was going to
anything.
say, you want to turn the already deadly, dangerous, fucked up animals more dangerous and fucked up.
It becomes like a Jurassic Park scenario where Australia gets abandoned.
Yeah.
And so it's got these giant monsters in it and stuff. But you go there to like hunt these crazy animals and stuff. And like, so it's just the show would follow like an adventurer who takes these group through and they all get picked off and stuff.
No, the show
there's like these rings of power that are in the middle, and that's you have to take them into a mountain.
It would start that way and inevitably end up with the activists going to save the animals from the hunters.
And they all get eaten. It's like Kong mixed with fucking Pacific Rim mixed with Lord of the Rings.
Mixed with just living in Australia.
Yeah.
And Australia, the Baz Luhrmann film,
So
Australia.
for those listening at home, we definitely not get distracted, and everybody just make sure you stay frantic. Anywho, so this is a really good show. We are talking about Pacific Rim the Black, in case we are digressed too far. As I said,
I can't remember.
Jaegers, kaiju. It's got an awesome driving story, which I really enjoyed.
It's like a CGI one, isn't it?
Semi CGI, yeah. So I thought it was pretty good. And you don't really like that a lot, do you?
I can put up with it. It's it varies. It just depends how well it's done.
I found that this one is it's good. It's easy to watch, and it brings something to the action within it as well, which sort of makes it easy to stay involved with it, in my opinion.
Like that, the Suicide Squad Isekai and the Batman Japan one. I wasn't a fan of that style.
Yeah,
animation.
they were hard.
It just didn't really work. But then you look at like a thing like Arcane, and like that's 3D, and that's just fucking gorgeous.
Oh, 100%.
Batman Spider-Verse, like they're done really well. Even Neon Genesis, the movies, like 4.0, like half of that was CGI, and that just worked really well.
Yep. So yeah, you've got a couple kids, brother and sister. Their parents are missing. They have been for several years. So they've got a little settlement they're a part of. But then that settlement gets fucked up because they discover a Jaeger underneath the ground.
It's like an abandoned
abandoned one. They
sort
sort of wake it up more or less. It attracts a kaiju, fucks up the settlement. They're the only ones left. And then the story just sort of follows them as they run across the barren wasteland of Australia. And yeah, good fun.
Like it. I like it. All right. Well, I'll jump onto my second ones. So my second one, this is more the teens, sort of 20s sort of age bracket for my ones, and that is Demon Slayer. This is a beautifully drawn anime, just to start off with. Like, it is just gorgeously done. So essentially, it's the Taisho era Japan. Tenji is a kind-hearted boy who makes a living selling charcoal. However, his peaceful life is shattered when a demon slaughters his entire family. His little sister Nezuko is the only survivor, but she has been transformed into a demon herself. Tanjiro sets out on a dangerous journey to find a way to return his sister to normal and destroy the demon who ruined his life. And essentially, it's just an adventure one, like point A to point B to point C, point D. Really cool characters.
Good pacing, like awesome fucking action scenes. Like, they are so well done. Yeah, I'd probably say it's up with the best action scenes I've seen. Like, visually, it's just, the action scenes are stunning.
The story looks amazing. It's a little gimpy with the sister. You know, she's got a fucking thing in her mouth the whole time, so she doesn't bite people. And it's just well done, really good stories, and even like the demons and stuff are fucking like the part where he has to go into that thing for 5 days, whatever it is.
Yeah, into the forest. Yeah, he goes into the forest. It's
like
his final training
long
arc.
head thing, and it's really really good, easy to follow. Doesn't confuse you, doesn't make you have to have backstory of other animes and all that kind of stuff. So that's my series, and my movie for teens/20s is Akira. Akira is probably, I think most people class it as one of the best anime films ever made. It's been tried to make into Hollywood film all the time. So essentially, it's a 1988 Japanese animated cyberpunk action film directed by Katsuri Otomo, produced by some other names that I'm not going to try and pronounce.
Thank you.
Based on a 1982 manga of the same name. It's set in a dystopian 2019. It tells the story of Shitoro, the leader of a biking gang whose childhood friend is Tetsuo, acquires incredible telekinetic abilities after the motorcycle accident, eventually threatening the entire military complex amid chaos and rebellion in a sprawling futuristic metropolis of Neo-Tokyo. This movie escalates fucking hard, man. It goes from nothing to up there, and like the from the 1988 film, the animation in this is just outstanding. The storytelling's awesome. I'm sure even if you're not an anime watcher, a lot of people would have seen parts of this, or at least heard of Akira. Like they would have seen the motorbike, the motorbike jacket, all that kind of stuff. The motorbike is insane. It's so good. But yeah, it's just a great film that I highly recommend people watch.
Cool.
All right,
Zachary.
I'll go on to what was my number one, but will now be my number three, is Arcane. So, yeah, basically what we've already touched on before, it's 9 episodes long, split into 3 mini-seasons when it was released originally, so 3 episodes each. And, yeah, basically for me, it was decent pacing, knowing the lore and the backstory, so I enjoyed those first few episodes, getting to know them, the backstory of them all, and also picking up on the few Easter eggs and things like that along the way, which... if for the people that didn't play the game may have missed.
Yeah, I did.
But it said, like I enjoyed, like, look, there's that sort of, the gauntlets there and this character here sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, it's a pretty straightforward storyline, easy to follow, good graphics, good action scenes, good drama to follow on the storytelling, and yeah, overall a good watch. And
I 100% agree with you. It's
The story is awesome.
so well written. It is so well written.
I said, people I play the game with were a bit annoyed sometimes that the second season has taken so long to come out. I don't have an issue because it's going to be fantastic.
It's not like they can just sit down and draw that shit
No,
out
no,
of the fucking
exactly.
night.
I don't even think it was that long. Like, didn't it come out?
No, it's
3
been a
years?
while, yeah. About 3
something like
years.
That's not that long.
Yeah.
My only wish list now is obviously they're going to end with season 2, the
Well, they
Jinx and Vi
said
arc.
that from the get-go that it was going to end, and they said they're going to continue more, but it'll be a different...
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like,
characters and stuff.
there is that many different realms and laws. Like, you can go down a pirate alley, you can go down like a spectral ghostly alley. So,
Because, I mean...
The difficulty will be whatever the story itself is, because yes, there's the arcs and whatnot, but you need those characters.
no,
to
and that's the
draw
thing.
you
Like,
in.
there are several that you can do. Like,
Okay,
that you
awesome.
can go down. Like I said, there's a ghostly character called Viego who is like the spectral king, and you can go down his backstory of him losing his wife and turning into like sort of chaos and madness that turns in there.
Like every single character in the show has a fantastic,
Yeah.
super well
Yeah,
fleshed
like
out
it's not
backstory.
like just a character. Like everyone has a detailed story, and like you can go and read up on all of
And
them.
if you want to watch some cool things, go watch their cinematic trailers, man. Fuck, they are good.
Yeah.
And they're all like to killer music, and it's just and like it's just so impressive.
times I'll just put their music playlist on the car as I'm driving, just because like all their songs are really, really cool.
You mean you don't listen to the podcast? Why are you not listening to the...
I can't listen to it 7 days a week because there's not 7 episodes a week. So
We can do 7 episodes a week. if you
No, we
want.
fucking can't.
No, Arcane was great. I know fuck all about League of Legends, but
Just a great show.
all I can say to any movie person out there that will never listen to this podcast is that's how you make a show or a movie about a fucking video game.
Fuck yeah.
So well done.
fuck
So
yeah.
well done. And I look forward to more and more of it, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. 100%.
Over to you, sir.
All right, my next one is Arjun Demi-Human.
Is this the manga you talk? No, it was coming out, wasn't it? Yeah.
So this one came out in 2016. Now, I can't recall why I actually started watching this, but I was very happy when I did because it immediately drew me in, as it was a show with like a touch of mystery about it in some early episodes, and it just sort of very good at just dragging you in straight away. Like, it's mixed with good action, simple main character who gets dealt a very, very poor hand, and the way that he sort of overcomes what that is. So basically, it's about that kid. His name is Nagai Kai. He discovers he is an Arjun. Now, an Arjun is...
Genie, isn't it?
Pardon?
Isn't an Arjun a genie?
Well, no. No, it's not.
Loosely, but yeah, it's a different
loosely,
thing.
but no. It's a weird one. Like, I mean, they're more or less, they discover they're an
demons,
Arjun.
aren't they?
Kind of.
Yeah, they're
Again,
demons in Japanese culture.
So, more or less, they discover they're an Arjun when they are fatally wounded. And because they're fatally wounded, they don't die. And when they don't die, they come back. They're able to then continue to regenerate each time that they take any sort of wound or whatnot.
We've talked about this before, I'm sure. Although I think I might have watched it then.
And one of the other things that they're able to do is kind of create this ghost spectral type thing that only other Arjun can see. So that's where you get like the genie slash demon type thing element to it. And depending on the type of Arjun that you are, or at least the ghost that you can produce, they can be intellectual or not intellectual. So some of them are literally, they spring up and then you control them. Like, you go make them do whatever they want, and they are incredibly fast, strong, and able to just fuck people up. Or you get ones that are intellectual to an extent, and you can teach them to be self-sufficient. And more or less, like, so let's say you bring the ghost out and it's intellectual, like it will try to protect you naturally type of thing. And yeah, so this kid, he's just walking along, gets hit by a car, and then stands back up and goes, fuck, I'm an Arjun, and just gets the fuck out of there because he's trying to leave, because anyone who is an Arjun is considered extremely dangerous. They're hunted by the government, and the government wants them to experiment on them.
I was waiting for that part to come into it.
There might be. Is there a live action version of this?
I don't know, actually.
Because I feel like I've heard this story, but I can't picture the anime. But I feel like I've watched the live action version.
So in any case, the reason I put it here is it's one of those ones which it's easy to watch. In my opinion, the story itself, I'm probably not explaining it very well. It's not overly complex in that it is a kid who dies and discovers he's got some powers that keep him alive, and he can create a spectral body, so to speak, to help him fight.
No, I haven't watched it.
And so yeah, it's that is sort of as simple as it is, and it like bringing in the government element to it, like that gives you the big bad, so to speak, and that allows you to have other bodies who are trying to overcome the government, and other people who are just trying to live, and those sort of balances between all of them. So it's just got a good story to follow. It's got some awesome action in it. It can get quite bloody and gory at some points, and it's just incredible the way that it was written. But the reason I put it in as sort of a gateway is because of those elements, but also if this gets it into you, it's also a very good stepping stone to start getting into some of those things that have a little more complexity to them. So you've seen something that's an Arjun, ghost, spectral, and then it's a good stepping stone to some of the fucking weird shit that you can get into, i.e. my next one that I'm going to talk about.
Welcome to the weird shit. So this one is more the adult
definitely
stuff.
more adult. My three are that one there's definitely adult. The first one, Pacific Rim, I think that I'd call that
kids could watch that. Yeah,
kids can watch that because there's not much there's action in it, but it's not full on action. So I'd say like mid to late teen. Oh, and Guillermo del Toro, he did Pacific Rim and Black too. So that's another reason to go check it out.
All right, so my last two. Now these ones are more adulty orientated ones. So my TV show is Kakaguri.
Yes.
So this one is a fucking weird show, but it is so entertaining. It's that very over the top anime, like that anime is famous for. Only anime can get away with just being over the top ridiculous. But essentially, it is
It's a type of food. I just Googled it.
second year student Yume. Well, there you go. Second year student Yume is at first glance a beautiful, cheerful, and intelligent high school girl who recently transferred to Hayaku Private Academy. But deep inside, this compulsive gambler who simply gambles for the thrill of it, unlike the rest of the students at the school who do so for financial and social gain. Unrestrained by rules or logic, with an exceptional observant ability to see through gambling scams, she quickly disrupts the hierarchy of the school, drawing the attention of the student council, especially its president, who takes interest in her. So essentially, this one it's a school for like the rich of the rich of Japan for their kids to go to, and essentially
There's an underground gambling rink within it.
It's gambling is a part of the school,
Right.
and that's how you dictate your stance in the school. If you're a good gambler, you have more
see
money.
why AJ likes this show.
And you're higher up on the hierarchy of the school. Whereas if you lose all your money and stuff, they put like a little wooden thing on you, and you become like essentially a slave to all the rich people.
Jesus. Yeah, right.
And this chick, the main character, she moves in and she's all cool and calm. But as soon as she starts gambling, she's like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna win this fucking shit." And she's like super addicted. But she doesn't do it for money. She just does it because she's fucking. It pretty much gets her off essentially.
So we were talking about gateway anime. Do you think this is a gateway anime?
It is
or-
because it's very much silly, zany fun.
Okay.
And it's over the top ridiculousness.
Yeah, okay.
There's no real big storyline to follow through. It's just essentially
fun.
a chick who just loves gambling and
Okay.
all the hijinks she gets in with all the different types of classes, because they have like the traditional Japanese class who are all samurai and play traditional games and gamble, and there's like the ones who just play blackjack and stuff, but they're all trying to cheat, but she sees through the cheats and like they think they're going to win, and she just fucks them over like at the last second, like the traditional anime thing, and they're all like, no, kind of thing.
Yep.
It's gloriously stupid.
Yeah, okay.
And then my last one is the movie. Now this one is another classic in the anime genre. It is Perfect Blue. So this is a film from 1997. It's a psychological thriller. Essentially, this is a hardcore movie just drawn instead of live acted. So it's a really good thriller movie. It's essentially about a J-pop idol group. One of the girls leaves, and a lot of fans are disgruntled by it and stuff, and one of them starts stalking her and sending a message, and then it goes full into murder and like intrigue, and it's like hardcore investigation and stuff. It's a weird-ass movie, but I put this on the list because it is the most movie-like movie
Okay.
I've seen as an anime, where it's a movie wrapped in cartoon form.
Okay.
Whereas a lot of them have those traditional anime tropes and stuff like this. This is very much just if it was live action, it would be the same movie kind of thing.
Awesome.
And it's just it's a very there are disturbing parts in it, so I warn people for that. But it is a very, very good movie.
Cool.
Yeah. Zachary?
So did you say that's you done? So
That's
you want
me
to do my last
done,
two?
yeah,
All right,
that's
I'll
me
do my
done.
last two then. So my first one is Samurai Champloo. So this is
Not Samurai Pizza Cats?
No.
3, 2, 1, Pizza
No.
Cats are run the run.
So Samurai Champloo, it's a banger of a show. So it was directed by, I'm going to murder this name, but Shinichiro Watanabe, who made Cowboy Bebop. For those that know that. Again, 26 episodes long, so it's a shorter season, shorter series to get into. First of all, has great soundtracks throughout for the intro and the credits. So
I imagine this was Bebop. It's the same dude who did the soundtrack for that. Yeah.
So yeah, is it definitely an anime that doesn't have any of those tropes of like going over the top and long-winded scenes for the sake of having that long-winded scene. 5 minutes in this is 5 minutes. It's not 3 episodes. But basically, the show follows the 3 main characters who are effectively on a journey of the same goal, but for different reasons. You've got Fu, who is the glue that holds the other holds the group together. You've then got 2 other samurai with her, which is Mugen, who is an outlaw, and Jin, who is a Ronin. The 2 samurai start out as rivals, but end up working together to help Fu achieve her goal. Has got great themes in each episode to work through and get through, and the action scenes in there are pretty sick. It ends with obviously them finding the Sunflower Samurai, which is the overall goal of the show, and them all achieving their goals or accepting defeat. So they all sort of reach their inner peace, so to speak, sort of thing, and reach what they wanted to by the end. It's a great story with good resolutions, and all the characters are engaging and likable. So there's nice, simple show for everyone to get into. And then my last one is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So this is
Glad you said Brotherhood.
yeah, I'll say this is the second because the first one was finished. Full Metal Alchemist was finished without the manga being finished, so they took artistic liberties.
Yeah, and that movie was
Not good.
No.
So they came back and remade it with Brotherhood. So yeah, Full Metal.
Essentially, for those who don't know, Full Metal Alchemist came out first, and they veered heavily away from the manga. Even before the manga was finished, they knew they weren't going to do it, so they kind of veered a really far away from the manga kind of thing. And then so they released it as Brotherhood, and it pretty much, for the most part, follows the manga.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched the original. I've only watched Brotherhood because I've been told to steer clear of it. Because
it's essentially what they're doing with the new Netflix One Piece. Because One Piece is veered hardcore from the manga, and the new Netflix One Piece is going to follow the manga.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's a story of two brothers, Edward and Alphonse, who are trying to fix a mistake which led to Alphonse becoming a spirit trapped in a giant metal suit of armor. Their mum died, and so Ed tries to save her with alchemy, but fails. The show heavily revolves around alchemy and its properties.
And he also loses half his body as well.
Yeah, he loses half his body, so becomes the Full Metal Alchemist. The story is really good, generally easily to follow, as the storyline intertwines quite easily between all the different characters and plot lines in the story. The world is set with the government hiding a conspiracy about the Philosopher's Stone, and the main evil is someone called Father.
So Harry Potter's in this?
No. Make it better, though.
Very different Philosopher's Stone.
And so Father, who is trying to use alchemy to take over the world and just do general bad stuff.
Now, this show starts off pretty simple, so it's a good beginner way, but it gets heavy towards the end. Yeah.
So it goes down and you end up having like some of the different sins of like greed and lust and things like that in it.
So that's probably a good example of the gateway element, and it takes you through into what more.
And
so it's probably a really
by the end
good
of it, you are hardcore in anime.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, again, it's 64 episodes, so it's starting on the longer side of the ones I've chosen. But yeah, as Adia said, it starts off slow and easy to get into. You start to develop the engagement into different characters, and as it gets towards its crescendo, it starts to build up in its intensity and bring out other things.
And it has one episode that will crush your soul. It will crush your soul and your belief in humanity.
Is that the little girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
There's a dog, there's a little girl. That's all you need to know. If you haven't watched it, when you watch it and get to that part, you'll be like, fuck you, Frantic Nerdcast. Fuck you.
But it gets a lot better after that.
To be fair, we warned you. We didn't make the fucking show.
But yeah, so it does have some of the
We may have recommended it.
does have some of the anime tropes, like the gag panel with Ed always being called short and those sort of running jokes throughout it.
And everyone always assumes that Alphonse is the Full Metal Alchemist because he's made of metal.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's generally a friendly anime to get people into. As I said, besides the one soul crushing episode, it's pretty good. And it's got
There are other heavy moments in it, but it's there's a lot of murder and stuff in it. But yeah,
but it does ramp up, so like it gives you plenty of time to get engaged and used to the story, and you find out what's going on. It doesn't just sort of hit you in the face. It eases you in gently. But yeah, that's my my list.
Cool. All right. Broccolina.
All right. So my last one, I've put up a show called Sword Guy. Now, this one came out in March 2018. No, it's not Sword Fake. It's Sword Guy.
Okay.
Now, this is one that I made up. Now, I'll put this one on here because it falls a little more into the anime realm. It again starts off sort of slow and just engaging in sort of some simple story, but then after this, as the seasons progress, it gets more as to what happens. It is based around possessed swords in some way, shape or form, or at least swords that were built with a soul. And as they kill more people, they just relish in the fact that they're doing this, and they become big and great, and then they get attuned to their owner. When they get attuned to their owner can then bear a big metal armor suit type thing. So they morph. Now, that doesn't happen until a few episodes in, so it gives you like a bit of a backstory and some information before that happens, which I find a good sort of gateway, because it doesn't just go, hey, there's possessed swords and they're big metal guys, and you're kind of like, wait, what the fuck? When did that happen? But it follows the main guy, whose name is Guy. He loses his arm when he loses his arm, he's been more or less living with a blacksmith, and that blacksmith gets a sword, melts the sword down, and creates his new arm out of that sword. Now, this sword is one of the possessed swords, so he more or less becomes linked with the soul of that sword, so to speak. It follows his progression, as well as meeting some of the other sword wielders and what those sword wielders can do and how that sort of expands on the universe. So nice easy landing to get you in, introduce you to the characters, and then it starts to go a little bit wild as some of the thing, but it's got some awesome action scenes, some awesome characters, some good character progression and development. It does, again, have some of those anime tropes that it gets you into, like that brooding main character and then the girl who's heavily in love, but he doesn't want her because he's too broken and all that sort of stuff. So it's got a few of those tropes through it, but it's done in a reasonable way. So yeah, that was my third one. Now, what I will say as well, the reason I picked these three, because I actually had another three. The other three that I had were Attack on Titan, Solo Leveling, and no, those were just the other two. The reason I actually went away from those is these three are available on Netflix.
Okay.
So I sort of, the other ones you have to either go get a subscription to an anime streaming service or go find one of those websites. So from a gateway perspective, they're good to, they're very readily, I mean, fucking everybody either has Netflix or has access to it. So they're there and able to sort of get in and have a gander.
Yeah, if I was to follow that trope of Netflix, the one I would throw out, which is currently on Netflix, would be My Hero Academia. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, because it hasn't been there for long either.
No, it feels
It
like
doesn't have all the seasons yet either.
I think it's got the first 5. Yeah. I feel like Netflix has started to pull on some of the mainstream animes because it's got a lot of them now, from like One Piece to Jujutsu Kaisen to Demon Slayer and things like that. So I feel like
they're still missing like 500 episodes of One Piece.
Oh yeah, look, I don't think Netflix could hold all of One Piece, but yeah, I feel like that's what Netflix is going down to try and sort of gain a different sort of market is to get those sort of mainstream animes onto their platform.
Yeah, and it sort of helps them prop up the ones that they're like heavily involved in actually producing and releasing, because they've got their own anime,
well, they've got like Seven Deadly Sins is one that's made the producers on Netflix. It's not bad.
A really good job.
Yeah. And the last thing that I wanted to say is that it took every bit of my being to not put Dragon Ball Z on here as my number one, because it's just purely because it's my favorite show. It's great. Everyone loves it. You'll love it. Go watch it. It's amazing. It'll get you hooked into all things.
I honestly thought you were going to have Dragon Ball Z on there.
I had it there, and then I thought, I can't do that. We've spoke about it already. Everybody already knows that I'm putting Dragon Ball Z, so we'll talk about something else.
Alrighty, let's move on. Okay, so before we talk about our main movie for this episode, let's talk about some rumors. That was a good radio voice, wasn't it? All right, so what have I got for my rumor mill for this? All right, Brie Larson is rumored to be starring in an Old Republic film, Raven, for Star Wars.
Raven? I think it's Revan, not Raven. Revan. Okay. I know, but
Brie Larson and it's fucking Star Wars. I don't really give a fuck.
Just be corrected. All right, so that's all good and well. Have you guys noticed that Wolverine and Sabretooth were in Captain America movie?
I have seen that one. I've seen that. I don't know if that's true or not.
Of course it's not true. It's
a shot from Wolverine.
Shit, but it's fucking amazing. Yeah, it's a shot from the Wolverine show, and it's got Captain America at the front where they're all getting off the boat through one of the war flashbacks. It's incredible.
Which was shot on Blacksmith's Beach right near where we live.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that.
Yep. One that would be up AJ's alley is apparently Father of the Bride 3 is coming back with the original cast.
Oh, really?
It's rumor. It's what I've seen on the interwebs. But yeah, my wife saw that and got really excited.
Yeah,
so.
That would be interesting. Ryan Reynolds has committed to return in Channing Tatum's Gambit movie. He quoted, "When he makes a Gambit movie, I'll return the favor. If he needs a Deadpool, I can do that. Someone to provide fresh orange slices to the crew, no problems. Name it."
This one isn't a rumor, but it's just something to just get excited about. July 2025. Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four. They're coming out July 2025 next year. So that is a big month. So yeah, July 2nd, July 11th, and July 25th, respectively.
My last one is that Julie Bowen and Christopher McDonald will return for Happy Gilmore 2, which is his love interest and Shooter McGavin.
That was my next one for next episode.
Sorry.
I had that for next episode.
That's all I had.
You're an asshole.
I only came with 2.
You're fired.
You got any more for this episode, mate?
Look, are we talking about TV shows in the next episode?
I've got some TV show ones as well, but we are starting to run long, so who cares?
Okay. Windu. They're doing one.
That's really all you need for
You
that.
said to make it quick.
All right. I've got some TV show ones I'll run through. MCU reportedly wanting to make a Snipes Blade, the MCU's Blade.
Yeah, I've seen that. It'll be interesting because the other thing that's kicking around at the moment is whether Ali's will go ahead, and the other one, there was another movie that they were possibly putting on the axe, and I've just gone blank on which one it was.
Who knows?
Yep.
Hawkeye season 2 is in development with multiple ideas on the table. A key concept will give Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop a more prominent role compared to season 1.
Yeah, kind of figured that. Nicholas Hoult is rumored to appear as Lex Luthor in Peacemaker season 2.
I have one. They have started to cast the Harry Potter HBO Max TV seasons.
Oh, yeah.
The cast
Is that based before or after the movies?
No, each season will follow a year of the books. So it's a remake of the books, and each season will be a year. So season 1 will be the Philosopher's Stone, season 2 will be the Chamber of Secrets.
But I've already seen the movies.
so
Why do I
rather
need
than-
to watch the TV show?
Hey,
The
I'm
TV
keen.
show's longer.
Rather than condensing it into the movies, there's far more different story arcs that are within the books that then can get more time to tell through the series.
My only concern with it moving forward, though, is the earlier movies may not need to be, or the earlier books don't need to be as long in the seasons. The later books do need longer seasons. So I'll be able to see how they manage that.
Are there enough gingers in the world to cast this show?
And that's my other concern is you kind of need to get the cast right after how well they did the cast for the movies.
I think they'll get it right.
I think they have to. They said that apparently the casting call has been put out to basically the United Kingdom, but it's literally just film yourself and send it in. So basically anywhere in the world can do it.
So there you go, gingers. If you're out there
And you
you're
want to
in
be a
the UK,
Weasley?
send it in because there's plenty of roles for you in Harry Potter.
Mortal Kombat, October 24, 2025. The second one's looking to come out then.
As long as Kano is as good as he was in the first one, because he was the best part of that movie.
It was so fucking good.
I can't pronounce. New DiMeo, the guy the showrunner from X-Men 97, who got fired before the show went to air. He's released a statement on his OnlyFans, and it was, quote, "Being gay, black, and open about it was the reason for my firing." And having his name removed from season 2. He said after his initial conversation to HR, he no longer felt safe with the studio as a gay black man. And at that point, it was apparently when he was shown the door. So there's a lot of conflicting stuff with that. But I guess we'll never find out the truth of what the actual reasons were. But it's sad because he did an excellent fucking job.
Yes,
and
definitely.
thankfully, season 2 will be his work. And then who knows what will go after season 3.
Tom Hiddleston set to return as Loki in Top Secret Project. Set to be released before Avengers Secret Wars.
It's 6 episodes of him just sitting on the chair.
Just whip cracking his
Yep.
fucking...
Episode 1. Episode 2.
Sign me up.
All right. That's
one-
enough rumors.
one
no,
more,
you
one
save
more.
them for the next episode, mate.
One more.
All right.
I'll save it for the next episode.
Okay. All right. Movie. Let's talk about it. Twisters.
Oh, that's all right. We've got a movie to talk
Yep.
Haven't seen it yet.
We fucking gave you like 2 days, mate.
Keen. I'm keen. Listen, I'm interested to hear your feedback, and then I will take it and run with it.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Well, this
Twisters.
is not for anyone else. This is just for Zach.
So this one came out July 19, directed by Lee Isaac Chung.
July 19. I take that back. It's been out for like long enough.
Yep. Starring Daisy O'Jones, main character. She was in Where the Crawdads Sing. Glenn Powell, rumored as Bruce Wayne for Guns Universe. And I definitely did not put my hand over the top of his head a few times while watching to see what it looked like. Anthony Ramos, most recently recognizable for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. He was also in
He
various
was in Hamilton,
shows.
for fuck's sake. He's one of the original cast members of Hamilton.
Most recently recognizable from Transformers.
But that
Rise
is
of the
his
Beasts.
most recognizable role.
Most recently
Children,
recognizable.
I'm interested in the movie.
I actually haven't seen Hamilton.
Haven't you? Oh,
I
you got
have.
Disney Plus?
Yes.
Yeah, watch that shit, man. It's fucking phenomenal.
Okay. So I was pleasantly surprised by this movie.
I went into watching this. I put it on just because I wanted something to watch while I was writing, and I think within 5 minutes it had me hooked. It was fucking good. And the best thing I can say about this movie was it had that same premise as the first one: tornadoes, people chasing tornadoes, etc. Except it kind of took that in a more realistic route.
Yes.
Where the first one was kind of a disaster movie, action movie thing. This one was more heavily based in science and the devastation that it caused to the public.
It was far more based around these things happen all the fucking time. What can we do to stop, prevent, and help? That was the premise of the movie. And it was really,
fantastically
it came
acted,
across really,
all that
really
kind
well.
of stuff. Like it had a couple of homages to the original, like right at the start of it when they're going into the tornado. They've got Dorothy, which is the machine that they have.
I was
with
going
the
to say, did it
cans.
have the sensors with the
But
cans?
the sensors are all futuristic-y now, but the Dorothy's in there and they're like trying to turn it on, it won't turn on. And he's like, she's hitting it. He's like, careful. That's like, it's old, but it's an antique. He's got to give it some love. And it's got like a Dorothy picture on the side that it had in the
So
original.
then he kicks it and then it opens.
And then like a couple other ones, like the cow flying through the air, the truck driving through a building. At one point, they're at a rodeo and the tornado hits, and like they strap themselves to some pipes that are in the ground, kind of stuff, like how it ended in the first one. Like little homages like that were really good. But the acting was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
The premise of why they were doing everything was because essentially the first right at the start of the movie, they're going to a tornado. They're college students. They're trying to do some sensing of this stuff. And she's trying to implement a new theory that she has of putting the shit that's inside diapers into a tornado to soak up the water to stop it. And they're driving into it and the tornado goes from like a category 1 to a fucking category 5 like that. And it's like, oh, fuck, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And then people die essentially. And
even the way, like I was genuinely surprised as to how that went. Like I didn't expect that to happen. So more or less there's 4 college students that go out.
One of them sitting back in the truck kind of thing.
Yeah, one's... Oh, sorry.
That's the Hamilton man.
Sorry, because there's 5 that go out. There's 1 who stays back and then 4 that go to drop off this the polymer and the sensors. And when they start, like it hits, it fucking takes the truck or knocks the truck over or something. They just start running. But as the 4 of them are running, like the way that scene is done, like the first kid who's closest to the tornado, he just picks up and fucking flies off.
Yeah.
And the other 3 keep running. They don't know what's happened. And just the simplicity in the way that was done, you're just like, oh, fuck, that was...
It doesn't focus on him or anything.
No, he's just gone.
Yeah.
He's just gone. And then it's on to the other 3. You're kind of like, oh, he's fucking gone.
And then you got like the chick that played Sabrina Teenage Witch in the new Netflix series. She's in it at the start there. And she's like trying to climb up. And as she's trying to climb up, her feet just start to lift off. And
Gone. And then the way that because then the last 2 are left are the main girl who's in it for the whole thing, and her boyfriend. And so she gets up under the underpass. She grabs, like, she sort of gets under one of the beams, and she's there holding on. And then the boyfriend comes over top and says, "It's okay, I've got you, it's okay." And within all the noise, it's like it's screaming, and then there's noise, and then you just see an arm just sort of go whoosh, like that. You're like, oh, he's fucking gone too. You're like, fuck. And then
it just cuts to the tornado gone and she's just walking through all the devastation and stuff. And then it cuts to like 5 years in the future kind of thing. And old mate who was from Hamilton, who was not in the tornado, he kind of comes and gets it because he's been in the military and he's discovered this new 3D sensor technology shit. And he's started a company to try and position these sensors, and he has to get her help.
Gets her back into it. Yeah.
So he's more or less trying to get the pictures and needs this girl because while she can use the tech to sort of understand what's going on, she's got she's got a tornado sense. So she can sort of look out and
looks
go,
at the sky and goes,
"It's over there."
It's over there. She got Spidey sense, but tornado.
I say, what you need in every good tornado hunter.
Yeah, exactly. So
and then eventually old mate comes into it, but he's like a YouTube tornado chaser. And he's just like a roughneck and stuff, and she thinks he's an arsehole, but then he turns out to be a really nice guy.
I loved the way that they brought him in as well, and the way that his character progressed through it as well, because they literally bring him in as a fucking YouTube Yahoo guy, and that's what they do. And they show him as that for a while. And then the next thing is sort of she's talking to the group, still thinks they're just a bunch of YouTube yahoos. And they don't exactly shy away from that. They're like, well, yeah, we are. But also, I've got a doctorate in this and I've got a background in this sort of sciences and I do and whatnot. And it's kind of like, oh.
Then you find out like all the money they make from the YouTube, they use to buy stuff for towns that have been stricken by it, and they give it out for free, like food and all that kind of stuff.
Because there's a scene where they've set up their truck and it looks like they're selling things. And so she sees them and goes, you fucking assholes, like, I can't believe you're capitalizing on this. And then she says that to someone else, sorry. And then one of the girls from the van comes over and says, here you go. He's like, no, it's fine. Just keep it for your sales or give it to them. He goes, no, it's all free. It's for everybody. Oh, that's why we have it here. And then you see the penny click. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, you guys are here to help as well.
And it just carries on kind of like that, and they get together and they try and stop tornadoes and stuff. And it does end with a big tornado, hitting a town kind of thing. But the end was good. But the best tornado, I thought, was the rodeo scene.
Yeah, I think that scene as a whole was just well done, because it had the way that it snuck up on it. Like they weren't expecting one. It hit the rodeo, and they all just kind of got fucked up from there within that little town. And it progressed into the falling out of the Hamilton guy and the main character as well. So because it had that led into that falling out, and it was just well written, and I mean came across quite well as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they're starting to get the legacy movies done well to a point.
They are and they aren't.
Yeah,
well, the good thing about this one was this wasn't a sequel.
Yeah, but that's what I meant. Like, we had this conversation the other day, like the Top Gun Maverick, like, it's a legacy movie, but you don't need to have watched the first one to have enjoyed it. It's a standalone movie in its own right, just with a few callbacks to the original, which is good.
Well, this could have literally just been another tornado movie and had nothing to do with the other one, because literally it was just a couple of little callbacks, and other than that,
and that's it. I think that's what makes it successful in the right. Like, if you try and keep it too close to the original and have it as a direct sequel, especially after all this time, it often struggles because everyone picked.
I think Top Gun Maverick was a gem. Like that's very rare that happens in the legacy sequel world. But yeah, so that's Twister. Recommend it. Give it a watch. It 100%. Was good. I think that's really about it for this episode. Anything else anyone want to say? Want to chuck in there?
No, it's been good.
Brock?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And we will see/be heard by you soon. Check out the YouTube, check out the socials, all that kind of stuff. Stay fresh, bros.
Stay frantic.
Stay frantic.
Cheers, guys.
You franticlers.
Oh, fuck. Don't bring that back.
You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever all good podcasts are listened to. On YouTube, you can check out the latest episodes just after the podcast is uploaded.
Follow along the journey on our Facebook and Instagram. You follow me, Frantic Brock, on Instagram, and you can follow AJ, Weird Art by AJ.
See ya.